What is IV ozone? Find out on this next episode of Digest This.
Welcome to Digest This, the show that helps you revolutionize your digestive health. Here are your hosts, Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato.
Hello and welcome to Digest This. I'm Dr. Liz Cruz and I've got Tina Nunziato sitting right here by my side. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see that beautiful face of hers. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're a first-time listener, we welcome you. If you're one of our regular listeners, we love that you have continued on this journey with us. We know that you are all so busy, hectic schedules. So the fact that you take the time to listen to us means the world to us. So thank you so much. So IV ozone, what is that? I mean, you know, I've always heard about the ozone layer in the sky, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about ozone that is actually used in healthcare. Okay, it's used in the healthcare industry, and the reason we wanted to talk about it is because I actually went for my very first IV ozone session today.
Yeah, and I want to just back up because I think we've mentioned ozone in the past, like when we get colonics and stuff like that. Sometimes when we go for our colonics during the session, they put ozone in the rectum.
Right.
Like they stop with the colonic and they put ozone. Sometimes you can get vaginal ozone. So there's like all these different healing methods for using ozone. So today you went for your IV ozone.
I did. I went for IV ozone, which was fascinating to me. Basically, they take your blood, and they took, I believe, about 100 cc's, 100 or milliliters, and she took my blood. She went and mixed it up with ozone, got it all ozonated, and then she came back, hung it up on an IV pole, and basically infused my blood back into me.
Did it look different?
Oh my goodness, I hope it was my blood and no one else's.
Oh my gosh, gross.
Just thought about that right now.
She mixes up the bags.
I know, as I'm thinking that she takes it
Right,
and then comes back. She's like, okay, we're ready. No, actually, yeah, they're very, very nice people. Very nice people. There were 3 other people in the treatment room, and so
where were they in the process? Was she taking their bags of blood to the back as well?
Actually, and that's funny you said that because I did think there were 2 that were getting a different type of infusion that I think we'll talk about on another podcast. They were getting NAD, so I think that definitely would be a great podcast. And then there was one other gentleman who was getting the IV ozone, but he came in about 20 minutes after me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I got my blood.
Behind you in the process.
Exactly.
For 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay. How long did it take her to put the ozone in the blood?
Not long.
No?
Yeah, she took my blood and she came back within a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then she hung it up. So I was there a total of about an hour. After the ozonated blood infused back into me, then they gave me a push injection through the IV portal, through the hep lock, of vitamins, like a major thing of vitamins. So anyways, that was
like
pretty
an
cool.
IV, just like typical IV therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, she could have hung it in an IV. In that situation, she pushed it in. So, but yes, just like getting an IV bag of vitamins.
Right.
You know, a big bolus of vitamins is what I got.
So talk a little bit about what ozone is and why it's used for medical purposes.
So it turns out that ozone has actually been around for a long time. In fact, back like in the early 1900s, like before antibiotics were a thing, ozone is what was used. If somebody came in like with some sort of an infection, a pneumonia, what they got was ozone.
And it's because it's man-made.
Right. It can be exactly. It can be natural or man-made.
3 parts oxygen. Right?
It's right. It's three oxygen molecules.
Right.
Or oxygen. Right. 3 oxygen.
Just like
atoms,
water
I
is
guess.
H2O.
Right.
This is O.
Ozone is O3. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very potent, as you know, in regards to the immune system. Okay. And they don't exactly understand it boosts the immune system, but it does a major boost. It really jacks up the immune system in a great way. In fact, there's even IV ozone. So what I got was basically what they call like a one pass. Okay, they took some blood, mixed it up with ozone, put it back in. There are like IV ozone on steroids that where
not literally on steroids.
Not literally on steroids,
just
but
a ton of IV ozone.
Exactly. Yeah. Where, a ton of IV ozone, where a ton of blood, like basically it's like it's going in through one IV, okay, and then you've got the junk coming out. It's almost like, I don't know, to me it's like a form of dialysis almost.
Like an oil change.
Yeah, it's like an oil change. It's not dialysis, but in that one is major, because that one is the entire, like your entire blood. Yeah, it's like it's being filtered.
Yeah.
And that's, back in December, Tina and I actually spoke with a woman who has her own clinic where this is what she does. This is all she does. She does that IV ozone on steroids. Mm-hmm. And so, that's like a major, but that type of thing, that where you're getting that much of ozone into your blood, is supposed to even boost your immune system to the point where you're even mobilizing stem cells out of your bone marrow. Okay.
Wow.
Stem cells are a cell that has not differentiated yet into anything. I mean, you've got cardiac cells, which is in your heart. You got brain cells, the neurons, skin cells, you've got cells in your intestine, cells, like there are cells throughout, your trillions and trillions of cells. You've got cells that are very specialized in different parts of your body. And so a stem cell is a cell before it becomes differentiated into, it's very cool. Mm-hmm. So this type of IV ozone that's on steroids will even to the point, is even to the point of causing stem cells to be transported out of the bone marrow. So it's, you've got your body is constantly doing what they call surveillance, your immune system. That's part of your one of the jobs of your immune system is doing this surveillance, where it's looking out for bugs, germs, bacteria, virus, fungi, even cancer cells.
Right.
Even cancer cells.
We all actually make cancer cells.
Exactly.
It's just whether our body holds on to them or not.
Exactly, because your immune system is supposed to get rid of all that stuff. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff gets flushed out through the lymphatic system. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, if your immune system, if you're really stressed for whatever it is that's causing you stress, that can stress the immune system to the point where the immune system isn't able to do what it's supposed to do to in its surveillance of the body.
Yeah, it can't function in high capacity.
Exactly. Yeah. So suppose, reportedly high doses of IV ozone can really boost the immune system to try to, like people that aren't sick but they want to stay healthy. This is, one way of doing it. And one of the videos I was watching, the clinic where they do the IV ozone, they even have people that are coming in who maybe are going to go on a long flight, like overseas. Mm-hmm. And they come in and they get this IV ozone and go on their trip. And then when they come back, they do it again, because when you're in an airplane, you're like in a contained area where there's all sorts of germs and bacteria and viruses just floating around, with all those people. And so, it's really an amazing thing. I mean, I guess once antibiotics came out, once penicillin was discovered, that ozone kind of fell out of favor in a lot of places. But it sounds like places like Russia, Germany, Austria still do ozone, and still continued through the years, even with antibiotics coming out. And so I wanted to I wanted to get it done. You know, I'd heard a lot of amazing things about it. And it can really boost your energy. It can really be great, like for brain fog.
I was going to ask you how you felt after you had it done.
So
you looked very bright.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I? I mean, I honestly did not feel anything different. But I do feel great. I mean, I feel good. But
I feel like your energy is like.
Do you feel that?
Well, even on this podcast, your energy is up a notch. Like, I mean, normally we're pretty, like, on this podcast. But, like, you're like, yeah.
Is
like,
my voice a little loud?
No, it's just that you're just, like, you just have a lot of energy right now.
So maybe I just don't realize it. But, since you're my wife, I guess you would notice it.
I have noticed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a great session. I was just there, like I said, for like just an hour. They did the infusion, got the vitamins, and I was on my way. So I definitely, I look forward to learning more about it. They gave me several videos for me to watch. And I had actually watched some of the videos. Oh, I have to say, one of the gentlemen that was there, was an 80-year-old who was there getting IV ozone. I didn't pry to try to figure out specifically. I just, the information he gave me was that he had some knee problems, and he had gone in and they literally injected ozone right into the knee. And that by the next day he was fine. And then he told me, and I don't know if he used to be a vet or what, but he told me that back in his day, that's what they used to do with their horses. So whether he just, maybe he owned horses or whatever, I don't know what that story is, but he said that they literally would inject ozone into like the joints of the horse if the horse was having some issues with its joints, and that it just worked miracles. And he said very healing. It's interesting because he specifically specified, I think I told you, he said doesn't cure, okay? And one of the videos that I started watching already, the doctor that's on there, he has like a longevity clinic out in Santa Monica where he sees a lot of celebrities that come in regularly for this IV ozone. They do it for longevity, but they also do it for health. He was saying they can't claim that it cures. They can't. Even though he was talking about a story where he had a woman who was like in her mid-50s who had come in with metastatic cancer, and so cancer had spread everywhere, and so the woman came to him as a last ditch because basically they had given her like months to live. And so the woman found him, came to see him. They put her on a protocol where she was going in twice a week. She did that for 16 weeks, so 4 months, and then went and had repeat scans. And the story that he said was that the radiologist called the oncologist and said, I think that these are for the wrong patient. These are for the wrong patient because the scans I have from 4 or 5 months ago show cancer everywhere. This scan shows nothing. Wow. Yeah, but the doctor was being very careful and saying, look, we cannot make any claims that this cures. And the gentleman that was there in the treatment room with me today
the horse guy
said the same thing. He said, this stuff is a miracle. Oxygen is miraculous. He goes, it heals. He goes, I'm not saying it cures, but it heals. So anyways, I think it's an amazing area of, it's an amazing arena of information. I had a great experience. I did buy another session.
Yeah, so how often are you planning to go?
Well, I only have one other session that we bought. I actually want to do the IV ozone on steroids. So
how much did this session cost?
It was $500.
So one session is $500.
Yes.
So you have one more session at $500 to do.
Right.
And then how much does it cost for the IV ozone on steroids?
So the IV ozone, and keep in mind that the IV ozone that's on steroids, like for people that are just going in just for maintenance of good health already, like they don't have any health issues, this doctor that was doing this video was saying that these people basically needed like maybe every, like 2 to 3 times a year. Okay. So with the person that we found here in Phoenix, her first session was $1,500. However, if you buy a few sessions, then it's, I believe, $1,200. So you can buy a few sessions and get a.
That's the one on steroids.
The one on steroids. Yeah. So you know.
You do that less frequently, right?
Exactly, because that's like
That's
filtering
super intense.
the entire blood. Yeah. So I don't know if you remember her talking about it, that as she would see the stuff coming out, like she could see like a film, like, you know.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, like it was pretty amazing. And she also said that that's what she uses to judge like how often she's going to tell that person they need to come in, because if the blood
looks
the
dirty.
stuff that's coming out is dirty, whatever it is that's coming out, then she may have them come in more often at the beginning, as opposed to maybe if it doesn't look so bad, then maybe she would push out the next session. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. Anyways, well, you know what? It's a new arena for us that we're learning about. So as we learn more, we will share it with you. All right. So anyways, if you want to connect with us, if you haven't connected with us, please go to our website. Actually, I do feel a little hyper. Please go to our website. Go to our website, drlizcruz.com. There is a magenta button that you on the homepage that you can click and schedule a free 30-minute wellness consult. Free. And you can do it from anywhere because it's done over the phone. So if you are in Germany, if you are in Australia, it doesn't matter where you are, you can do it over the phone. It will be scheduled. You can schedule it on there and connect with us that way. If you haven't rated us, please give us a rating, and please give us a 5, because it'll help other people just like you to find us faster. And lastly, if you have not subscribed to this podcast, my mouth is talking faster. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe so that you don't miss any episode. I mean, you don't want to miss episodes of me going like a million miles an hour.
Let this be the IV Ozone pitch.
Exactly.
How Dr. Cruz is feeling right now.
I do feel great. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next podcast.
Thank you for joining Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato. To learn more about their revolutionary products and services, go online to www.drlizcruz.com.